So I'm Suhitha Veeravelli,
And I'm Renee, Guerin.
and this is our Excel VBA project for ABE 205 Spring 2014 semester. So our project is an expansion of an already existing project that basically allows the user to simulate an irrigation system for their farm. So to start off, we have a button here that links to a user form. So here we just fill out the data that it asks for, so name and Suhitha, Veeravelli, and then farm provider, choose ocean spray. And for our first plant, maybe I want an orange tree and put it in like the center, maybe at 100, 100 on our plot. And then I want an acacia, orange tree, ground cover, and oleander in my farm. And I'll put the acacia close to the front corner, orange tree kind of close to the other orange tree maybe, and then ground cover maybe off in the corner. Oops. And then oleander somewhere in the middle there, just throw it in there I guess. So then if I hit accept, it brings up a dialog box that kind of summarizes all the data that I just inputted. So just hit OK there. And then if I hit save, it transfers that data and inputs it onto the worksheet here. As you can see, it put all the plant types for each of the plants that I said that I wanted, and their X location and their Y location. And also displayed that data from the dialog box or message box right here in this range. Also, you can see there's this last column called plant number, and that was each plant number correlates to the different plants. So 1 for orange tree, 2 for acacia, 3 for ground cover, 4 for oleander, and that was used to help with the code for drawing the circles as related to the plants.
So the next part of the program is to draw the landscape, and this macro is going to give you an overhead view of what your landscape would look like with the plants and coordinates you selected. So it brings up this bubble chart, and the plants are coded by size. So you can see that the orange trees are represented, they're the smallest circles with the size of 1, and the acacia has a size of 2, the ground cover has a size of 3, and the oleander has a size of 4. So that shows you what your landscape would look like. Next is to select some pipes. So we'll click this button, we'll bring up this user forms. There are 4 different pipe diameters you can choose from, 25, 50, 75, and 100. We'll pick 75. You can choose the number of sprinklers. We'll pick 4. And then you choose however many plants you inputted. So we chose 5 plants. So then we'll choose our desired pressure. We'll say 10. Again, if you hit accept, it brings up a message box that tells you your pipe diameter, the number of plants and sprinklers you added, and your desired pressure. And then if we hit save, it does a couple of things. It saves the information to the worksheet in this range right here, and then it also saves the pipe diameter, the number of sprinklers, and the desired pressure to this pipe reference worksheet, which will allow us to calculate flow rate.
Okay, so going off what Renee just talked about with the user input on pipes, we decided to simulate or model the formula for flow rate based off of the pipe flow. So we imported some data from Chapter 3 Irrigation Simulation, as you can see here in the bottom corner, and we looked at mainly pressure and pipe flow in meters per hour. So this separates out the data, as you can see, into the 4 different options for pipe sizes: the 25 millimeter diameter, 50 millimeter diameter, 75 millimeter diameter, and 100 millimeter diameter. And so these 2 buttons right here, they dimension the data as an array. So this first column will move this pressure column to our pipe reference sheet right here in column E. And our second button will move the second column, the pipe flow in liters per hour, to the F column here. And we had it do that because in order to create the graph, it was easier to have the columns be adjacent to each other, as you can see here. So we use this data to record a macros to plot this graph. And so this graph, as you can see, the different colors show the different pipe diameters as off the legend. So the blue is the 25 millimeters, the red is the 50, green 75, and purple 100. And so we have these buttons that hide the graph and show the graph. And so we set a trend line, power trend lines for each of the different pipe diameters to model the pipe flow versus the pressure based off the data that we imported here. And so in this range over here, we summarized the K values and the X values based off of the equation, as you can see off the coefficients and the exponents for the respective pipe diameter or name. And so, as Renee said earlier, the user got to choose which pipe diameter they wanted, the number of sprinklers they wanted, and their pressure input. So we have this button here which will take into account all of that user input, and based off an equation that we modeled through the code, it will, as you can see when you click on it, show you what your calculated flow rate is in a little message dialog box, and it will also display all of those variables into this range of data over here for further reference.
So the final thing that our program does is connect what we've done on plant location and pipe reference to the original program. So if the user wants to input the plants, the X coordinates, and the Y coordinates into the original landscape spreadsheet, then they can do so with these macros.
So that's our project. Thank you for watching and listening.